Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of movie news for a change. Yes, I'm aware. Loads of people, or Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. I'm aware it's a lot of videos. I know, I get it. But we are in the lull of spring where not a lot of movies actually come out. And there's not a lot of information being dropped about movies because we've just had some big hitters. And now we're about to get some big hitters. So we're in that weird in-between phase. We always get it. People just seem to forget it. And then when other things come up and they sort of take over the channel, people get offended for some strange reason. So I just want to clarify, all the Amber Heard Johnny Depp videos are always additional. I haven't stopped doing my old content. I'm just waiting for updates to actually talk about. And this is one of them. This is a pretty good one, actually. Doctor Strange 2 listing reveals the film's horror elements. Now, I wouldn't say it's spoilery, but it does detail some gruesome deaths, right? So, I don't know where you guys believe spoilers lie on things like that, but I wouldn't say that this is a spoiler. I'd say this is pretty promising. Because Sam Raimi, although known for horror, is also known for horror comedy. And, has had some duds in terms of what he's produced. He's not one of these individuals that just knocks it out of the park each and every single time. He has put his name on some things which are, not that great. As with a lot of directors. But it does need to be mentioned nonetheless. So Doctor Strange 2 listing reveals the film's horror elements. And they are quite horrifying, actually. They surprised me. But I will say that it's still going to be relatively toned down. It has to be. So let's take a look, ladies and gents. And before we do, please do check out the links in the description box. I've got a second channel. I upload to that channel twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. It's a good fun time. Check it out. You might really love it. There's also memberships. There's also Patreon. And also my Teespring store. So please do check those things out. Good ways to support the channel if you like what I do here. So new details on the much talked about horror elements of Marvel Studios' Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness have been revealed. Now this was interesting for a few reasons because they removed Scott Derrickson, who is a horror guy. And he was like, well, they want to go in a direction that I'm not interested in. Creative differences. So I was concerned actually by how much they would have gone horror. This does reassure me. It sounds good. This is a positive video, by the way. This does genuinely sound good. So the rating's not good, by the way. The film's just a 12A rating in the UK. I mean, that's not a good rating. That's not super bad. It's 12A. Who cares? I'd say that's like a PG-13, I'm guessing, stateside, 12A. So it's not that bad. However, they earned that for what sounds like pretty horrifying stuff, I guess, to a certain degree. So injury, detail, threat and horror, violence and flashing, flicking lights. Not overly sure how that amplifies the rating. I need to look into that. I was up on this previously at a certain point, but they do change it from time to time. Then we have, of particular note, is the threat of horror section, which has direct quotes, right? So it says, scenes of horror include demonic beings attacking people. Cool. I'd expect it, but alright. A decomposing corpse being reanimated. Alright. Now we're getting somewhere with the horror. Okay, that's not something I'd expect in a Marvel film, I'm not going to lie. People being burned by magical powers, leaving charred remains. So I'm guessing you see some of this stuff before they just turn to dust. That's what I'm going to guess. But that sounds... well, it sounds like the Sam Raimi we know, right? The one we were looking forward to. And multiple jump scares. Don't really care about jump scares. Not interested in them. They're cheap. They're low-hanging fruit. There are also frequent scenes of threat in which people are pursued by demonic entities and monsters or threatened with magical torture. I love the sound of this. This sounds great. I know it sounds weird because I'm like, oh, this sounds great. It's all horror stuff. But it does sound good. It sounds like the more mature tone we would want from Sam Raimi. But ultimately, don't get your hopes up too much, ladies and gents, because it can't be. It can't be that horrifying, because they will still want to capture as many people as possible, and part of that will be kids, right? It's not going to be that scary, it can't be. That's just being logical. But Multiverse of Madness has long been billed as the Marvel Cinematic Universe's first truly scary film. In fact, original director Scott Derrickson's comments on the matter were taken so literally that Marvel Studios president, Marvel CCO Kevin Feige had to offer some clarification in 2019. Now, this is where a lot of the concern came from. So Kevin Feige came out and said, I wouldn't necessarily say that's a horror film, but it'll be a big MCU film with scary sequences in it. I think Scott Derrickson did want to make a horror film, ultimately. And he would say further, I mean, there are horrifying sequences in Raiders of the Lost Ark that I, as a little kid, would cover my eyes when their faces melted, or Temple of Doom, of course, or Gremlins, or Poltergeist. These are the movies that invented the PG-13 rating, by the way. They were PG, and then they were like, we need another rating. But that's fun. It's fun to be scared in that way, and not a horrific, torturous way, but a way that is legitimately scary, because Scott Derrickson is quite good at that, but scary in the service of an exhilarating emotion. So I kind of still stand by the fact that Scott Derrickson did want to make a horror film, and they've toned it down, and that's probably why they got Sam Raimi, because of, you know, the sort of horror comedy that he's well known for. I think that's probably why they got Sam Raimi involved. And they would say, you know, Sam Raimi's become known for this terrorizing cinema experience. Was, you know, a new thing that they sort of came out and said. But yeah, there you go. What do you guys think? To me, this is positive, because it's the details there are a lot more horrifying than what I had suspected. So I'd love to hear any and all of your thoughts. And like I said, there is a bit of a lull at the moment. It looks like it's going to start ramping up now, because obviously this comes out May 6th. So we've got like 2 weeks now, this week, and then it releases the following week. So 2 weeks, and then there'll be a bit more of a ramp up from there into the summer months where movies will be released. So I appreciate there is a lot of Amber Heard, Johnny Depp stuff. I get it. I know. I'm not going to apologise for it, though, because there is still all the other content as well. YouTube does, unfortunately, make you search for it sometimes. So I can kind of apologise for that, I guess, because that's just YouTube being, well, sucky. But let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care.